Anime can be extremely ridiculous at times, and that's honestly part of its charm, but also its chaos. One minute you're watching a perfectly normal high school student walk to class, thinking, okay, this seems like a solid relatable setup, and the next minute they're riding a giant mecha powered by their dead grandma's soul, fighting aliens with laser chopsticks. And I'll be just sitting back thinking, wait a fucking minute, how did we get here? The transition from, oh, this could be cool, to what in the Drake level plot twist is this madness happens so fast you barely have time to process it. A ridiculously overpowered protagonist trope. Some anime have the audacity to show me a cool looking protagonist with actually decent amount of backstory and a level head, and just completely take a shit right all over it like Travis Scott did to performing concerts. The amount of retarded shit that comes out of the insanely overpowered characters is bonkers to me. For example, let's look at the anime that completely changed my view on why overpowered main characters are alright to complete shit. That time I got reincarnated with my smartphone. First off, who the fuck's idea was this? Come on, Apple, just cause you're showing off your goddamn phone in an anime with some big titty anime girls doesn't mean I'm gonna buy it. Okay, never mind. Where do I sign my soul over? But still, this overpowered shit makes everything less important. Like, there's no worry or suspense to it. So we have a big baddie, like for example, this ugly ass dude. So normally this is how it would go. I'm gonna touch you like Diddy. Come here, boy. And this is how it really goes. Oh yeah, just use the ejaculation app to make him give up fighting just because it's one of the 9 millionth tower at your disposal. Plot armor is one of the most annoying shit when it comes to anime, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the last one, but there is one key difference between plot armor and being overpowered. Gallons of unsupervised baby oil, I meant luck. Sorry, Diddy, this ain't your time to come back. Man, fuck this shit. I want some more booty. Come over here, Jamal. But yeah, luck is the main difference. So for those of y'all that might have been on the short bus, here's an example to help you out. Let's say there's a guy with a minigun, strapped up all over his body with guns and rockets and shit aimed at you. For being a victim of plot armor, this is what would go down. The guy intensely looks at you, aims in, and starts to fire hundreds of thousands of bullets raining down on you. And you just start dancing like you're Jim Carrey in Sonic 3. Bullets fly and miss you by feet, like stormtroopers are shooting you. This is the shit that makes it boring, because the more plot armor scenes we have, the more we expect it to happen later on. So the entire point of danger is taken out just by being lucky. Oh buddy, where do I begin? There are legit entire episodes where characters sit in a dark room explaining everything instead of actually doing something. It's like being taught a sex ed class by ED3456, and he shows his proof getting quote-unquote baddies. You came for the action, but instead you're treated to a glorified PowerPoint presentation with all the energy of a Reddit mod explaining why you got banned. Bonus points if the dude delivering the lecture looks like he hasn't even seen sunlight since 1473. And then there are the flashbacks. Oh my fuck. The flashbacks. You think you're about to witness the fight of the century, but nope. Time to rewind to the villain's sob story about how their trip to Japan wasn't as sugoi as it should have been, and that's why they decided to blow up the entire universe. Like, cool story, man, but maybe just get a therapist instead of committing genocide. But nah, apparently the only coping mechanism in anime is revenge and awkward monologues. You know what I like and at the same time don't like about some animes? The fan service. Like, sure, on one hand, ooh, booba. It's shiny, it's bouncy, and it's doing its job to grab your attention. But the other hand, this shit is distracting as hell from the actual show. I get it. You need to show off the female skin because of the epidemic of gooners in the world right now. It feels like 9 out of 10 guys haven't touched a female in decades. That is, if you've seen Twitter recently. This shit can get out of hand extremely fast. And at one point, you have to just sit back and hit them hoes with this pose. You've got animators out here catering to the guy who's so down bad he thinks the body pillow is a viable tax write-off. Twitter's basically a feeding ground for this crowd. If you scroll through anime threads, you already know the vibes. It's like 90% thirst traps and 10% people trying to talk about the plot when you know damn well they never even watched the show. But here's the thing, fan service doesn't just show up, it takes over. What starts as a harmless oops my towel fell moment turns into a full-blown softcore hentai. Like, can we talk about the physics? Some of these characters' bodies are doing Circus Delay level tricks to make sure everything is on display. It's not fan service, it's fan contortion. And where the fuck is your kidney and liver? They are squished for sure, bro, and the timing is always horrendous. You're in the middle of an emotional moment, maybe someone's crying, and bam, out of nowhere, here's a slow zoom on someone's thighs. It's like the animators are trolling you, going, aw, were you feeling something? Let's ruin that real quick. At a certain point, you just have to sit there and hit them with the arms folded, disappointed dad pose, like, really? This is what you're giving me? This is how we're spending the animation budget? Because sometimes the fan service goes so over the top, you're not even mad anymore. You're just tired. And don't even try convincing me this is character development. Oh, her skirt flew up because of a gentle breeze in the middle of a boxed room. Yeah, totally realistic. realistic. It's less about telling a story and more about seeing how far they can push it before people call it out. In the end, fan service is like a cheap cologne. It's fine in small doses, but when it's overpowering, it ruins the whole vibe. Whenever you think of power of friendship in anime, what's the first series that pops in your head? If you said Fairy Tail, congratulations, you're not alone. This shit is completely and utterly filled to the brim with power of friendship. It's like every fight ends with someone yelling, "I can't lose because I am my friend," and then suddenly unlocking a power so strong it puts literal gods to shame. To be fair though, just because it leans into the trope doesn't automatically make it a bad anime. But let's be real, what makes the power of friendship bad isn't the why, it's the how they use it. When done well, the power of friendship can be heartwarming and inspiring. The kind of thing that makes you want to text your friends and say, "Hey, we could definitely beat the Ender Dragon right now." But when it's done badly, it just feels cheap. Like, oh, you're telling me that this guy, who was getting absolutely destroyed 10 seconds ago, suddenly wins because he remembers the boys. And Fairy Tail takes this to an art form. The stakes could be world-ending, the villain could be 10 levels of overpowered, and Natsu will still come out on top because someone in the background shouted, "We believe in you." It's like they're using friendship as a cheat code. Meanwhile, the villain's over here thinking, "Wait a minute, I killed your entire village and burned your waifu pillows? How are you suddenly stronger because someone gave you a pep talk?" It's emotional whiplash at its finest, man. But the funniest part, it works every single time. You think the bad guys would catch on, like, "Oh no, they're talking about friendship again. Quick, shut them up before they go Super Saiyan." Instead, they just stand there, letting the protagonists have their big cheesy moment. It's like watching those fake couple YouTube videos when someone gets hit by the same prank over and over again and still being surprised somehow. Yeah, that was my thoughts on these red flags in anime. If you see any of these signs, please click off immediately because the rest of your brain cells, all 4, will be deleted. Anyway, like and sub for anime titties.